Now let me actually take you live to one of our offices, and I want to introduce Dr. Andrew Huff. Now, Dr. Andrew Huff is an expert in public health, has his PhD in a lot of different fields that I can't even pronounce. And he has also postdoc from MIT in complex system. And Dr. Andrew Huff has actually created some technology that is part of this solution. Some technology that can, with a certain amount of reliability, tell you whether it is safe to go or not, whether it's safe to come into the office or not, whether it is safe to come into the school or not, whether it is safe to come into the hospital or not, whatever your use case might be. So tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you, Nabil, for that very kind introduction. So here at MTRX, we harness technology to make our world a healthier and safer place. As many of you are aware, there is a big problem right now with COVID-19. And one of the problems with COVID-19 is, how do you screen for people? How do you determine who's sick? And many organizations right now are using temperature as the primary screening mechanism to determine whether or not people should be admitted to a facility. The big problem there is 40% of COVID-19 cases do not have a fever. Another problem with that is that a lot of people who have cancer or other chronic conditions run hot. That could result in a false positive, and then that person would be inappropriately denied access to the facility. And since 40% of people don't have a fever, many people slip through the cracks. So what happens then? Organizations are faced with a really difficult decision. Oftentimes they have to close the facility, they have to shut it down and sanitize the entire thing. If you're in the manufacturing world or you're in a stadium, that's millions of dollars per day. Another problem that we're dealing with is that it's difficult to track these sick people that enter the facility without contact tracing or a contact tracing kind of technology. A lot of people, high volume of people moving through an area, you really have no idea who came into contact with who. And to go along with that, there's a shortage of medical professionals and public health professionals right now to do the contact tracing, to do the diagnostics, to do the screening. And finally, taking someone's temperature directly is risky. You're putting two people into close contact with each other, and that could put both people at risk for contracting COVID-19. This is the MTRX K1 kiosk. It's a non-contact device, meaning you're not supposed to touch it. It says, please do not touch in big bold letters on the screen so that hopefully people don't walk up to it and touch it. It continuously measures 3 physiologic characteristics: temperature, heart rate, and respiration. The combination of those 3 physiological measurements actually are more accurate predictors of infectious disease than temperature alone. So let me show you how it works. So the person walks up, and actually right now we have it configured in a use case for a badge, a ticket scenario. We can actually scan barcodes, QR codes, RFID, and Bluetooth tags with this system. So here, we'll try this one out, see what happens. Okay, so it says scan in progress. I walk up, the interface pops up, I position my body, it turns blue. Right now it's measuring my heart rate, temperature, and respiration over time and continuously, which is also more accurate because we're taking multiple measurements over time. So the countdown timer is going, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, and I'm healthy. So here are my statistics right here of the 3 physiological characteristics measured. It says scan is complete. I'm able to enter the facility. So I'll let the system reset here real quick. So I'll go up with the other ID card, scan it. Invalid ID, see please personnel, thank you. So personnel could be defined as your system administrator or someone who handles tickets at the vending office. So this is a good example of how our product could be used in the real world.
Dr. Huff, that is awesome, but I have to ask a question. So this is great. So we can get a green light that, look, this is good to go in, and we just go in. But what if perhaps somebody is not feeling well? Perhaps he or she shouldn't go in. So how does that experience work?
That's a fantastic question, Nabil. I'm going to simulate what it would be like if someone with a fever or a respiratory issue came up to the kiosk by holding my breath and bringing a hot cup of coffee into the field of view. All right, catch my breath. I have a temperature of about 104. Set that water down. So catch my breath. So it says, please see personnel. And what we do then is we actually notify someone from occupational health or a designated point of contact, and that's through a mobile app, our web app, or our SMS text messaging system.
That is awesome, Dr. Huff. Thank you so much. And I know our viewers and our customers and our partners and our prospects will be hearing a lot more about this technology. We really appreciate you kind of joining us here from San Jose, California. Now, coming back, that is phenomenal. That is a sensor that can help in this fight. That is a sensor that generates data. Now, what do we do with that data? Now, let me introduce another person from my team, Doug McDonald. Doug has spent all his